appreciate that. You can watch us on Roku. Just download the WHPR app to any of your mobile devices, be it a cell phone, a tablet, and you can watch us online. You're no longer restricted to having to stay in front of your television in the house. As I said, I'm glad to be back here with you. I was gone the last 2 weeks, and the Angels filled in quite admirably, I heard. And so we're glad to be here again to talk with you live. Today is March. What's today? The 3rd or the 2nd? I don't even know. Today is the 3rd. We're live in the studio. Give us a call, 313-868-4336, 868-0342, and 868-0351. I have two topics that I wanted to talk with you about. I know the Angels last week were talking about gun violence, and that still has been a discussion that has been in the news almost nonstop. It's going to be talked about tomorrow on another local station here in Detroit for an hour. The one thing that bothered me while I was gone on the cruise last week was Detroit Police Chief James Craig came out in advocacy of arming some teachers in the Detroit public schools. I'm not sure if the Angels talked about that. I know they discussed teachers being armed in the schools as well as certain gun violence, but I wanted to have that conversation with my audience today as well. The second topic we'll get into as well is the 13th District congressional race and the concerns that some in the community are having no matter where you go, whether it's a community group meeting, block club, barbershop, beauty shop. People are talking about the upcoming congressional race. And, of course, with the long-expected announcement of Bill Wild joining the race, there is a potential for the 13th congressional district to be represented this fall by a non-minority. And there are conversations that are going to be had. Jonathan Kinlock, president of 13th Congressional District, was quoted in the paper as saying individuals are trying to talk about coalescing around one candidate. There was a Sarpolis poll that went out earlier this week that said right now Brenda Jones is in the lead, followed by Coleman Young. And I can't remember who this distant third was. But right now, Council President Brenda Jones had 25% in that poll, but a substantial number was undecided. As always, this being only March, and the primary is still 5 months away. What are your thoughts about that? We also heard on the political spectrum that Wayne County Sheriff Benny Napoleon is being talked about as running with Gretchen Whitmer, who received Mayor Duggan's endorsement last week or earlier this week. Is that significant? Will that bring out a number of Democratic voters come this fall? Is that what is needed? Because right now, Ms. Whitmer, in some polls, is running neck and neck with Attorney General Bill Schuette. And that's interesting because we've seen time and time again across the country, Democrats are taking seats in state legislatures that were long Republican strongholds, but the numbers in Michigan that show that Bill Schuette is still somewhat within victory lane of the gubernatorial race here in Michigan, despite the drag on the GOP ticket by Donald Trump. What are your thoughts on all of those? We'd like to talk to you about gun control, arming teachers in the school, your thoughts about Chief Craig's statement that some teachers should be armed, which flies smack in the face of what DPSCD Superintendent said, that he was not in support of that. We'd like to know what your thoughts are. 313-868-4336, 868-0342, and 868-0351. Give us a call. Let's get this discussion started. We're live in the studio. This is Your Turn with Cliff Woodwards here on Comcast 91. You're watching on WHPR TV 33 as well. You can watch us digitally and online, live streamed. If you have the Roku device, just simply go to your app store and your cell phone app store as well. Look for the WHPR app, download it to any of your mobile devices, and take us along with you for the ride. As I said, we are talking about gun control, whether or not teachers need to be armed in the schools. And a lot of people are what they're saying is that you don't see mass shootings in urban school districts. And the reason why is because urban school districts have long been, quote, hardened with metal detectors and making sure that all exit doors except the front door are always locked. That seems to have been preventing any type of shootings going on in urban schools. Do we really need teachers to be armed, or should we just put metal detectors in suburban schools? The answer is it seems clear. Why haven't they done that? 313-868-4336, 868-0342, and 868-0351. The other discussion topic is about the 13th Congressional District and whether or not you are concerned that that district will remain represented by a minority candidate. There are at least 10 individuals that are in the race right now. There is only, I take that back. Bill Wild just announced that he is running. He is a formidable candidate. He is the mayor of Westland, and there are concerns now that with all of the individuals besides him who are in the race would split the ticket, because remember, the primary is really the general election for a seat such as that. Over 10 individuals are in that race: Brenda Jones, Sherry Gay Danyogo, Chanel Jackson, Godfrey Dillard, Coleman Young, two Conyers, Ian and John III. What are your thoughts on that race? We're also going to have another, we probably won't have a special election, but there will be another election for Burt Johnson's seat, who unfortunately resigned his position after pleading guilty yesterday in federal court. Those of you like me who knew Burt Johnson, who know him rather, have a high respect for the former state senator. He was a really great community activist in his district, did a lot of good work for people, and it's unfortunate and sad to see that he got caught up in some misfortune. And I can only wish him well as he goes forward. But that seat is going to be up for grabs this coming fall. Give us a call about your thoughts on these topics as we get started this afternoon. 313-868-4336, 868-0342, and 868-0351. Let us know what's on your mind this afternoon as it relates to gun control. I'm wondering where you are. We'd like to hear from you. The phone lines are open, and we'd like to know what your thoughts are. That's why this show is called Your Turn with Cliff Woodards. Let's get this conversation started. You can see the phone numbers across the bottom of the screen. Let me know what you think about those issues. As I said, when I was gone over the last couple of weeks, a lot of things transpired. I wrote about some of them on Facebook with the idea that I was dead set against Detroit Police Chief James Craig wanting to arm teachers. Bankaley Thompson came out in the Detroit News, said it was a bad call, as well as did many others. Superintendent Vitti, who runs DPSCD, said that teachers do not need to be armed. And people are confused and left in a quandary. Why would Chief Craig actually make that recommendation, especially in light of what's going on in the city as it relates to Southwest Detroit, as it relates to the 9th Precinct? Violence doesn't seem to be abated there. I call for him to concentrate on the city and leave the schools to Superintendent Vitti. Good afternoon. You're on the air. It's Your Turn with Cliff Woodards.
Good afternoon, Cliff.
How are you?
Welcome back.
Thank you so much.
This is Belinda.
I know
and
what's going on.
And the young ladies, they were great.
Thank you. That's why they're my backup.
I know. And you got some good backup. Now, my phone is kind of echoing. Did you hear about the man who shot himself in front of the White House?
Yes, I saw that earlier on my way in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm going to try to make these 3 quick comments. Okay, one comment is on the young man who shot his parents.
At Central Michigan yesterday.
And they're saying that possibly it could have been drugs.
Mm-hmm.
We do know that people can get drugs real easy nowadays. But I hope that they don't just stop with their coverage and they don't try to get down to the initial what happened, because he also had a roommate, which they said that the police have also interviewed. And then I was saying to myself, I wonder if the roommate ever noticed his personality changes. We know that he did not kill himself, but remember, he felt like someone was after him. So I guess his initial thing after killing his parents was to hide. Okay, the other thing that I would like to mention is the governor's race. Did you get a chance to see Let It Rip Thursday?
No, I didn't.
Okay, you need to try to see, and everyone should try to get coverage of that segment, because they had the man that's running for governor is SHRI.
Oh, right.
Okay, if everyone listens to what this man is saying,
Hang on, Belinda. Don't go nowhere. Okay, go ahead. Did I lose her? Belinda, call me back. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to adjust to this new phone. I want to finish your thought about Shree in a second. Good afternoon. You're on the air. It's your turn with Cliff Woodwards. I've got to figure out how this phone works. Go. It's your turn with Cliff Woodwards. Go ahead, caller.
Hello, Mr. Woodard.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing well.
You know, I haven't talked to you in years.
Well, whose fault is that?
Yours.
Normally, I'm here every Saturday.
You don't even know who this is.
You're right.
I know. Your mother used to be my granddaughter's a teacher.
Over at Fisher?
A long time ago.
Over at Fisher or before that?
Before that.
Oh, okay.
And she loved your mom.
Right.
Your mom always said good things about my grandchildren. And
maybe that's because
I've
they
always said good things about Judge. The judge, you are the judge, aren't you?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm running this year, so I'm going to need all of you all to support me. I'm running for Wayne County Circuit Court Judge, so I'm going to need all of you all to support me.
You might as well get it. We didn't have enough bad ones in there.
Well, I promise not to be
take over and help the people out in the city of Detroit.
I promise not to be a bad one.
In the city of Detroit.
Okay.
I see one of your friends is going to prison.
Who's that?
He was on there last night.
Who's that?
I can't think of his name. Somebody just called me and told me that he's going to do 12 years.
12 years?
12 years.
He was on...
I can't think of his name right now, but somebody's going to call in and tell you.
Okay.
But I'm this person. You know who I am now?
Yes, I do.
I'm still talking about these people we have at the city council, which they should be shot.
Okay.
And you know what?
Wait a minute. Wait. Hold on. Hold on. We now hold on. Now you know good and well with all this gun violence, we can't say that people should be shot. And hang on, the caller that's on line one, I'm not going to try to flip these calls, so just let the call ring. I'll get to you as soon as I get done with Ms. Persons, but please don't hang up. Now, go ahead, Ms. Persons.
With him, I don't mean too much harm about certain ones, but I just love to hear Cliff talk at times and say certain things about certain people because he be saying it in an undercover thing, and Cliff is a very smart young man. And he knows exactly what he's doing. I'm glad you're back with us now.
Thank you.
And I hope you stay that way. And, give the people in the city of Detroit a chance like you always did because you always smiled when you thought something was wrong.
Now, Ms. Person, the thing is, and rest assured for the rest of you who are listening, I'm not going to change. I'll be 56 in about 5 weeks.
You'll be 56?
Yeah. I'm too old to change. So the person that you see now, that you've seen before, it's going to stay the same. I'm going to be silly. I'm going to be fun. I'm still going to take care of business in court. I want everyone to make sure that they have their say. One of my taglines is, if you uphold the law, order will follow. And that's my motto. And what I mean by that is you talked about giving people a chance. Yes, our young people do need a chance, but they don't necessarily need 3 or 4. And that's the problem that I see in the community. Look at the gentleman who was just coming home the other day, and he got alerted to the fact that someone was trying to break in his house. He gets there, and it's a 16-year-old kid armed with a gun, threatening to shoot him. And there's too much of that going on in our society. And yeah, our young people do need a second chance. That's why we have the HIDA program that was championed and passed by State Senator Holmes, David Holmes, years ago. And that program has done wonders for thousands of young people in our community. But is it something that they need to get repeatedly over and over again? I can't tell you the number of times that I have had clients come to me after the third or fourth time. Man, I can't go to jail. I can't go. Well, then stop doing what you're doing.
That's right.
You know, and
That's right.
sitting there on that bench, I've got to weigh whether or not this young man who broke into this grandmother's house should stay out or if he should get locked up. And sometimes these young people need to go sit down. They can't be breaking into older ladies' houses. They can't be the lady that was sexually assaulted down at the Detroit Opera House. They can't continue to have that type of behavior and still be allowed to be part of our society for a period of time. So yes, I'm all in favor of helping. That's why I want to use that platform to go into schools, work with young people, get legal programs into schools to let these kids see that there's something other than life than being a rapper or a basketball player. Because I don't want any more standing next to me in front of another judge and me trying to beg why he shouldn't go to jail. There's way too many opportunities out here.
I just want to say this to you. Mm-hmm. I have watched you all these years work for the city and working and helping people out. So if we get some more like you, regardless of how much you laugh and crack jokes and everything, you are a person that believes in these children, these young people in the city of Detroit. And I've watched you for years. I might be cracking up and laughing and doing things, but I have watched you. I have watched your family and everything else. So I know that you're here to help people out, and we need more judges and more people like you in the city of Detroit that's not backstabbers. As soon as they get a job, they forget about what color they are and where they live at and where they used to live at. See, that's why I don't vote for very few, but a very few people downtown, very few. Now, I'm going to vote for this man that you can't pronounce his name because he's a millionaire, and he don't have to steal nothing from these poor people in the city of Detroit or any place else. So I'm going to vote for him, and everybody in my family, I hope they get out and vote for him.
Okay.
Because you people are working for the people. You might be laughing. I see you laughing and everything on television, and I'm proud of you because you help people out. I've been knowing you a long time.
Well, thanks a lot, Miss Person.
And you keep up the good work. Don't let nobody backstab you and make you do something else against yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
And I really applaud you.
All right.
Just keep up the good work.
Thank you, Miss Person.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good afternoon. You're on the air. It's your turn with Cliff Woodwards.
Yes, this is Belinda again.
Okay, sorry about that, Belinda. Go ahead.
Okay, that's okay. Let me say I'm glad that it happened because just like Miss Person said, the man whose name I couldn't pronounce, S-H-R-I, and I was telling everybody they need to try to get that footage of Let It Rip because I'm going to tell you, that was the best interview that I have ever heard of anybody running for public office. And she's right. He's a millionaire. He's not going to take things from people, corporate people. He knows how it feels to be hungry. He only came here with $16. His mother is his role model. Cliff, when you listen to it, you're going to say, oh, my goodness, because we know that people can talk the game and don't do the same. But when you listen to this man speaking, you're going to say, oh, my goodness, Belinda and this person was right. Because you know what ends up happening is that the people with all of this money, okay, and they have, because remember, he had his own advertisement on the Super Bowl. So he's paying for this himself. And then back to the gun situation and the college, just like the young people have said, it could be a gun-free zone. But if you don't have anything to detect the guns, what is the use of it?
Now, and this is interesting. because you know that I always try to play devil's advocate on this show
Right.
and have free for all conversations. Now, don't you get mad and Miss Person, you better not call back and start cussing me out and talking about how you take everything back with what I'm getting ready to say.
Mhm.
You keyed in on the fact that Shree is a millionaire. And
Yes.
then you said he had his own commercial in the Super Bowl, and you're impressed by him. But
Mhm.
I'll bet you didn't say all those great things about Rick Snyder.
Well, guess what?
What?
Let me tell you something about Rick Snyder. I didn't say anything about Rick Snyder, and you're right. And I didn't vote for him either. But I'll tell you one thing, I have a whole lot of phone calls I have been making to his office ever since he's been in office.
But wait a minute. What's interesting to me, and I think that are we hung up on party labels to a certain extent? Now, I'm not going to take a position on this show right now
I understand.
regarding whether I'm favoring Shree or Governor Snyder. But because you use those two comparisons, millionaire and Super Bowl, I don't even think Shree would have used the ad on the Super Bowl if he had not saw Rick Snyder do it, 8 years ago.
Okay, you
Now,
could be
and
right.
it's interesting
Okay,
because hang on,
but you're right.
because
But I
Snyder
was watching Super Bowl 8 years ago. I watched it this time.
Snyder almost came from some humble beginnings too. I just looked at his early bio. He was born in Battle Creek. His father owned a small local window cleaning company. He has an older sister. When he was 16, he took business classes at Kellogg Community College on weekends. And by the time he was a senior at Lakeview High School, he had earned 23 college credits. It doesn't sound like he had, a rich beginning at all. It sounds like he was a regular middle-class kid. And then he started working for Coopers and Lybrand, which is an accounting firm. In the tax department. He made partner in 1988. So he worked his way up. He eventually joined Gateway, as we all
Well, I
know,
can tell you the
computers, and he
difference.
wound up becoming a millionaire in that right. So
I
if
can
we
tell
are
you the difference.
looking, you see where I'm going with this. If
Okay, but I'm going to tell you the difference.
what's the difference?
Okay, now listen to this here. Just like Engler, when Engler was saying about how he grew up, there are some people who resent people who didn't have to grow up like them. But you have other people who know the pain. Okay? And I'm going to tell you this. This is the first time, because I've been out in this political field a long time, okay? And this is the first time that I ever felt this way about a candidate that is running this early for the governor. Okay? Because I'm telling you, you have to hear this yourself, and you're going to say, oh, my goodness. Because just like we say, some people forget where they came from. Okay? They're going to give you a good show and dance. But when you listen to this man and what he's saying and how he's not going to take the money from corporate people, because if I'm not mistaken, I believe Hugh Perkins asked him a question about, people, how number 45 gave all that big business thing to the corporate people. And like he stated, it's not trickling down to the people like us. The minimum wage should be higher because the more money the people make, the more it jumpstarts the economy. Am I right or wrong?
You're right, but the interesting
You
thing
have to
about
hear it,
that
Cliff.
show.
Cliff, I'm telling you, honey, listen, you have to hear it for yourself.
Here's what I'm
And
scared.
when you hear it,
Here's
I'm
here's what
listening.
I'm scared of. And there was a story earlier this week talking about how the Russians actually, I've got another call on line 2.
Okay.
It's going to go, don't worry about that, Belinda, but the caller on line 2, hang on. I think it'll automatically go on hold. That call went on hold automatically for you, didn't it, Belinda?
I'm still here.
Okay. Caller on line 2, hang on. I'm going to get to you momentarily once I finish this up. But there was a story earlier this week about the Russian infiltration on Facebook. And they were able to track how the Russians used a Facebook account here in Michigan to steer black people towards voting for Jill Stein instead of Hillary Clinton. And those black people who were disaffected by Hillary Clinton, just as much as you were talking about, in this piece here,
Right.
And they were saying, the Facebook account was kind of having people, want to vote for Jill Stein because they were unhappy about Hillary Clinton. And we
Mm-hmm.
know that Hillary lost this race by 10,000 votes here in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm afraid of, and this is no shade to Shree at all. I've got
Mm-hmm.
nothing bad to say about him.
Mm-hmm.
But Belinda, that
Mm-hmm.
his chances of actually winning the Democratic nomination
Mm-hmm.
or winning in November are probably extremely slim.
He knows.
And
Mm-hmm.
if enough, even if he became the nominee,
Mm-hmm.
could he really beat Bill Schuette in the fall? And that's the scary part about
Mm-hmm.
politics when we pick a candidate who appeals to a very strong but small base.
Mm-hmm.
That can
Okay,
result.
I understand what you're saying.
Right.
And it's a detraction, but let me tell you this. Well, what we have, number 45, is where he's at, and what the Russians did to get him there, they're planning on coming to this election for 2018.
Of course.
Okay, but I'm going to say this to you. Okay, now, if you listen to what I just told you, the Let It Rip segment, and you look at Hugh Perkins and you look at Charlie Langston, look at their facial expressions. Okay,
right.
And whenever I'm going to say this, and I hang up.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to get, I think it's like 20% of the people who are in prison, because they asked him. He talked about people who are in there on marijuana charges, and they said, "Well, how many people would that be?" I think he said like 20%. Get them out, get them trained. But I'm telling you, Cliff, like he said, he knows he's up against. But he said that his poll ratings have gotten higher. So what we have to look at, we're fighting for our life because number 45 is there, okay? And some of the people with the money, it doesn't take all that money.
Okay.
But he has his own money. But what I want you to do, I want you to get that footage, and maybe next Saturday when you come on,
I'll watch it later on today. And
we can talk about it next Saturday.
All right.
And thank you, baby, for listening to me.
Thank you,
I hope I
Belinda.
wasn't loud because my phone is echoing.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, welcome.
Good afternoon. You're on the air. It's your turn with Cliff Woodwards. Caller, go ahead. Caller?
How you doing? Be fooled by those Cheries out there, Cliff.
Say that again. You're breaking up a little bit.
Nah, you cannot be fooled by the types of Cheries out there.
Okay.
Now, his cousin's only relationship with our people was at the three-bitten hotels that they run. They don't have any relationship with African Americans other than at the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
That hurry up and buy mentality, just like the Koreans. So don't get fooled by that. It's a shame that black people can get sucked in by something like that.
Okay.
Peace.
All right. Thank you. We appreciate that. Coming up at the bottom of the hour already, you are watching Your Turn with Cliff Woodwards here on Comcast Detroit 91. We're also on digital TV 33, and you can catch us on your Roku device. Simply download the WHPR app to that Roku box, or if you have a tablet, a cell phone, or other mobile device, search for the WHPR Now app in your Play Store and download it. You can take us with you live streamed no matter where you go. I'm interested in what you have to say this afternoon. 313-868-4336, 868-0342, or 868-0351. We've been talking really about the political landscape. We've somehow drifted into the gubernatorial race, which is just fine. I'll take the next caller in just a second. The other topics we were discussing was that 13th district congressional seat, which I'm really interested in having a conversation with you about in the remaining 30 minutes, because there are so many different candidates who have thrown their hat into the ring that people are concerned now for the first time ever that the 13th district will not be represented by a minority candidate. Is that important? Should a majority minority district be represented by one of its own? Can a white candidate or a non-minority candidate represent the needs of the minority residents in that district? People are afraid of Bill Wild, who cast his hat, if you will, into the ring earlier this week. And people are also saying, why can't black folk get together, coalesce around one candidate to ensure that the seat will be held by a minority? And is that a racist thought to even have? That's questions that people are asking too. We'll talk about all of that. Oh, and finally, one more thing, and of course the phone lines are lighting up now, so we're going to get to those. Chief Craig, while I was gone, wants to arm Detroit public school teachers with firearms. Is that a good idea for Detroit public school students? 313-868-4336, 868-0342, and 868-0351. Let's go back to the phone lines. Good afternoon. It's your turn with Cliff Woodwards. You're on the air.
Peace and blessings. How are you all?
I'm good. How you doing?
Oh, growing every day. It's good that
So am I, but I keep growing
are
outward.
No, I'm trying not to catch feedback from the television.
Okay, turn it down.
Can you hear me better now?
Oh, I could always hear. I was teasing you. You said growing every day. So am I, but I'm getting larger this way.
Mentally, emotionally, but not quite physically.
Exactly.
I'm a little old, so I don't reach that statuesque or statue. You know what I mean?
Yep. What's on your mind, my friend?
Hmm?
What's on your mind?
Oh, I would need to say that is very important that we continue to dialogue. I see that you're putting it out there like that. But I always say, I don't quite understand your background yet, but as far as your position in this world, but it's cool that you're projecting something to assist people to grow. So that's very well respectable. I would like to do a poem. Okay. Technology seduced me electrically. First, it happened a little, then a lot. I don't remember when it started. I can't remember when it stopped. Technology stops seducing me electrically. WW is not my identity. Now, there's more to go to that poem, but at the end of the poem, it's saying how we can use the social media to network and unite, but we still need to keep nature, Mother Nature, in front of us so that we can continue to unify in a natural way. So, little jumbled, but respect the show, respect you. Everybody listening, respect each other, and in simple ways, basic ways, assist others to grow.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Peace and blessings.
We
Thanks for
appreciate
taking my
that.
call.
All right. Have a good one. Good afternoon. You're on the air. It's your turn with Cliff Woodwards.
Hi, I'm enjoying your program.
Thank you. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Good. What's on your mind?
I was listening to another station today,
Mm-hmm.
and it said one of the a black petition business did the petitions to get Shree on the ballot. They got him on the ballot, and now he refuses to pay the $19,000 that he owes them.
Where did you hear this?
On Mongo's show today. It was Mongo's brother.
Oh, Skip Mungo?
Yes.
Okay.
Skip Mongo and Adolph Mongo. That's what I heard on that station today.
Wow.
So that's all I wanted to share with you.
Okay. I saw Skip Thursday, as a matter of fact. Thank you for sharing that. We appreciate that. I saw him Thursday in court, and that's unfortunate if it's true. Perhaps we'll know more about that as time progresses. And I thank you all for that support about growing outward, Dr. Leno. Perhaps, if I followed your trend of smoothies and healthful eating, I could look more like you rather than myself. Nevertheless, if you'd care to join me at Popeye's down the street after we get off the air, perhaps I'll have some skinless chicken tenders. Would that suit your concerns? 313-868-4336, 868-0342, and 868-0351. My backup ride or die psychologist, Dr. Michelle Lino, was texting me and teasing me about that. I want to continue this conversation. We've been talking about the gubernatorial race coming up this fall, as well as the 13th congressional district race. I'm surprised no one has really wanted to talk about that in light of so many different candidates in that race. Who would you choose to be the representative following John Conyers? And are you concerned that that race could result in someone like Bill Weil squeaking through and winning because the black vote is split? And then finally, perhaps you're all talked out about guns because the Angels did such a good job last week on that topic, whether or not you are siding with Chief Craig in wanting to arm some teachers in the DPSCD. 313-868-4336, 868-0342, and 868-0351. Good afternoon. You're on the air. It's your turn with Cliff Woodwards.
Praise the Lord. Hello.
How are you?
How are you doing, Cliff?
I'm good.
I'm giving you my suggestions for the governor. Is you the best candidate for everyone. Everybody is talking about him running. Out of the state of Michigan, it's all over about him. He's an excellent candidate. Number two, we should not have guns in the schools. There are enough guns in the city of Detroit. And the final question concerning the 13th congressional district race, I know Wild will win because there are too many running against the same district. They've got the vote split. So as a whole, I'm going to tell you the truth. There are a lot of African Americans or blacks, whatever you want to call yourself. They're going to be split in that 13th congressional district, as well as some blacks voting for Wild. But the majority of the whites going to vote for Wild. He's going to win that seat unless some of those people get together. They've done this several times. They should know what they're doing. There are too many in the race splitting the African-American vote. And I thank you for taking my call.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But the question, though, in order to be a successful politician, if you will, I think you'd agree with me that you have to have a certain amount of ego to begin with, to even think that you could win an election, that you should be in that elected seat, whether or not it's a simple dog catcher, justice of the peace, or all the way up to president. You have to have a very strong sense of self-esteem and ego. And Dr. Leno, you can more than likely call in if you want to actually chime in on that. So with the fact that all of these people having such high impressions of themselves, is it reasonable to think that any of them would step down and sacrifice themselves for the greater good? I don't really see that happening unless there is a quid pro quo somewhere that Sally Smith is going to step out of the race only if there's something in it for her. That if John Jones decides to withdraw, the only reason he will get out is if he can get this over there. Other than that, I don't see how anyone would willingly want to leave that race in order to ensure that someone else gets to go to Congress, because those seats aren't open every day. And as we know, it is very difficult to unseat a U.S. congressperson. 313-868-4336, 868-0342, and 868-0351. Good afternoon. You're on the air. It's your turn with Cliff Woodwards.
Hey, Cliff. This is Deputy Chief Amos. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm great.
Good.
Look, as far as this 13th congressional district race, to me, it has become a clown show, okay? And I say that because of the number of people, African Americans, that's running for this seat, okay? Number one, It's only, as far as I know, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, so far of those who have announced running and seeking petitions, only one person has stood by the people on the front line dealing with the issues and challenges facing us in Detroit, and that's Coleman Young. Okay? Now, Mike Duggan has endorsed Brenda Jones. Bill Ford has endorsed Bill Wild. Maddie Maroon's money is behind Chanel Jackson. Now, neither one of those endorsers, their interest is not our interest. And we as a community should not allow corporate and business to select someone to represent us. We should pick people to represent our interests. That's the bottom line there.
Well, you know, that went out the window. In fact, I wrote about that on Facebook this morning. That went out the window with Citizens United back in 2010 when the Supreme Court, in a divided decision, said that corporations are people too, and they have First Amendment protections, especially as it relates to political speech, and they are allowed to participate in the political process, which means they can give unlimited amounts of money to back whichever candidate they want. So what we should have happen versus what really will happen are two different things, and it's wishful thinking to think that corporate interests aren't going to play a factor in this election as well as any other one.
So I'm just saying, Cliff, I'm just saying that this is where we make our mistake. Okay? I understand where you're coming from the legalese side of it, but I'm speaking from the people side of it. We, like, hey man, we're talking about millionaires. Here's a perfect example.
Wait, hang on, Chief. Let me give you a perfect example because we've been talking about this the entire show. In fact, let me look up his name real quick because I don't want to butcher it.
Yeah, because I just clicked onto your show about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, and let me look up his name because I don't want to butcher it. Okay. The young man that's running for Sri Thanadar.
Okay.
Okay. This is March 3rd, right?
Oh, you're right.
Let's go back to Christmas. When you were sitting down eating Christmas dinner, had you ever heard of Sri Thanadar?
I've heard of him, yeah.
You've heard of him before then? Before Christmas?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you might be one of the few. But, okay, when was the first time you've heard of him? How long?
I heard of him earlier in 2017 with his business.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So at best, it's been about 6 months. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, longer than 6 months. But
okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Would you agree that the electorate in Michigan up until the Super Bowl had never heard of Sri Thanadar?
Pretty much, yeah, I would agree, yeah.
So you see what money does. And now you've got, I don't know how many callers who've called into this show, and they represent other people that haven't called in. It seems that he has bought name recognition in these ads that he's put out, his appearance on Let It Rip, and now he's got grassroots people enamored with him, and they think that he is the perfect choice for governor. I don't know. I haven't followed it. But what I'm saying, though, and I'm going to let you finish in a second.
Okay.
What I'm saying, though, is the same money that you are railing against with corporate interests is also being used by rich individuals to create a public image that would be good for the grassroots, too. So it's not just corporations that are doing it. Regular people are doing it, too. Go ahead. Go ahead, Chief.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
No, well, the reason people are enamored with Cherie, just like the lady said, it's his messaging. Okay, his messaging is resonating with everyday working blue collar and poor people. Okay, and none of the candidates, the other candidates, like I said, other than Coleman Young, it's clear. Either we haven't heard from them, or their messaging is not resonating with everyday working people.
And what I'm saying to you,
just like
Chief,
Dr. El Said, his message is resonating with everyday working blue-collar poor people. Okay?
I guess what I'm saying to you is that the only reason that message is resonating is because he's got millions of dollars to get it out to us. What about I'll give you another example, Bill Cobbs, who's in the race, who is an African-American candidate, homegrown, went to Cass Tech right here. But he hasn't spent the millions of dollars that Shree has spent.
Yeah, right.
Do you know about his platform, his message?
I've heard of him. I don't.
Exactly. And I'm not saying he's better or worse than Shree. I'm not saying he's better or worse than Shree at all. I don't know. Yeah. But the thing about it is, the electorate doesn't know unless millions of dollars are spent to get that message out there.
Oh, without question.
Yeah.
Without question. I totally agree with you on that. And that's what the grassroots, Cliff, as long as you've been knowing me, I think we met in 2010. I've been saying it all the time. The grassroots community, as I know it, they don't know how to fight, who to fight, what to fight, when to fight, and where to fight. They don't financially support candidates as they should, but they're always crying. A good, perfect example is the retirees. Pensions were cut, annuities was taken, they screaming and hooping and hollering, and did not come out and support Coleman Young, who was on the front line with them during the bankruptcy, and other situations. Okay, you look at Crystal Criniton. She went up and fought for the people during the bankruptcy. Okay, and you see she came in, I believe, third or fourth in the mayoral race. All right, sure, the people, these candidates like Coleman and Crystal, they don't have the money as a Duggan or Sharif, but if the people handled their business and worked together in terms of getting someone to represent their interests, it would be a different story.
It would. And when you find where that world is, Deputy Chief, let me know. I'm coming with you. Thank you so much, my friend.
All right, Cliff.
All right, have a good one.
Yep, you too.
All right. Good afternoon. You're on the air. It's your turn with Cliff Woodwards.
Good afternoon, Chris.
Hi. Turn your TV down a little bit because I hear the echo in the background. That way we can talk normal.
Okay. I heard someone, one of the hosts, I believe, on your station say that information is knowledge, and knowing how to use knowledge creates wisdom. We keep getting stuck on information. Someone put a slot in our mind or a thought in our mind, and it really distracts us off of what the real issue is. I have supported Coleman Young, and I will continue to support him. I would like to say that we cannot assume that everyone's name that's on the ballot, will be on the ballot, is on there to win. There's a bigger scheme. There's a bigger plan. And all these corporates and millionaires have a way of paying people off just to be on there to create division so that the votes are split.
That's an interesting
They have no intentions of winning. They might be promised a job afterwards, plus they get a lump sum, get paid off. But we cannot go beyond what we have already seen. Not what we've heard, what we have seen, what has been produced. Coleman Young is the individual suited for that congressional seat.
That is an interesting thought, ma'am. The fact that some may be in the race as plants. You're
I
very.
often think about the old movies with the cowboy and Indians. I'm much older than you. How they were always tricked off, and that same trick is what's being played on us in politics. To the point where I'm about ready to just stop in this system and go back to the Creator's plan.
Right.
That says, come out from within them.
Exactly.
Come out of them.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
All right.
Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye. I'm going to leave you with this post from Facebook earlier today. Hopefully I can get through this without my glasses. They're over there in the seat. I'm going to try to share with you my thoughts about gun control and the GOP. Corporations' right to political speech must be free, but only if they agree with me. On January 21st, 2010, the Supreme Court of the United States handed down a landmark decision that changed the American political landscape in ways that continue to reverberate across the country even today. In Citizens United, the court held that corporations are essentially people too, whose exercise of political free speech is protected by the First Amendment. Thus, for-profit and nonprofit corporations, along with labor unions and other independent organizations, are free to engage in the political process. When President Obama gave his State of the Union address just 1 week later and criticized the decision, Justice Samuel Alito silently mouthed, "Not true." Republicans, however, praised the court and have cheered gleefully its decision for the past 8 years, until now. Last week, Delta, United, Hertz, MetLife, Best Western, and a dozen more companies distanced themselves from the NRA by ending discount programs and terminating partnerships with the gun rights organization. The NRA screamed. The GOP howled. Georgia's Lieutenant Governor Casey Cagle threatened to strip a tax break from Delta that sounded an awful lot like extortion. 2 days ago, the state legislature carried out Cagle's threat. Some political pundits are now, incredibly enough, asking if corporations should be taking political stances. Examining the activity of the past 10 days would lead one to conclude the answer is, as long as that stance is one with which you agree. Looks like Barack the Oracle Obama was right after all. There, I said it. That's about all the time that we have for this edition of Your Turn with Cliff Woodwards. I've enjoyed this program. Without all of your calls, thoughts, comments, suggestions, opinions, and even criticism, it wouldn't be Your Turn with Cliff Woodwards. I'd like to thank R.J. Watkins Jr. for his outstanding help behind the scenes producing this show, as he does each and every Saturday. I'll see you back here next Saturday, same time, same place, on March 10th for another edition of Your Turn with Cliff Woodwards. Finally, a big shout out to R.J. Watkins Sr. for allowing me to have this platform as he has had for the past so many years. I'll see you back here next Saturday, as my grandmother used to say, if the good Lord is willing and the creek don't rise. That's a wrap, RJ.